Hey YouTube, it's me, Noah Mian, for the Arc of Truth. Today is June 13th, 2017, and it's currently 8:06 p.m. So, I want to talk about what has been going on in Evergreen. And if you haven't even heard about what's happening, basically, in my state, which is Washington State, in Olympia, there was this situation where basically there was a day of absence for where white people just leave or something. Yeah, sorry. White people just leave or something because it's meant to be a way to stop racism and segregation stuff. But this one one progressive professor stands up, and he's white, and says, "I don't believe we can fight segregation with segregation." And after all that, it's just been going downhill ever since. So that is, in fact, there was a lot of protests against him. Basically, they kind of harassed him, and a lot of other teachers who tried to stand up, and also some who happen to be white. And from what I can tell, also, there are some vigilante groups on the campus that basically they claim that this is meant to protect people of color or the university itself, when in fact it's pretty much just to just give them an opportunity to beat people up who disagree with them and whatnot. In fact, I recall that one person on the campus was actually completely against this. While there were a lot of protests against this supposed racism by this white professor, this one white student decided to do kind of a resistance to these guys, especially to the vigilante groups, which I admit and I respect. I completely respect this guy. I don't know his real name. In fact, he preferred to shield himself from his name from the newspaper that was reporting on him. But 2 thumbs up with you guy. Now, anyway, what he did in terms of a protest was that he used chalk, and basically he makes things that happen to be basically the opposite of what these guys do. And a lot of it is a little bit unrelated, but I think it's a little bit to troll, like Pepe, Make America Great Again, and a few other things. But especially this, he also talked about while he was writing down with chalk that we shouldn't have safe spaces, and I completely agree. But later it turns out that this guy was being and harassed by this vigilante gang. I think that word gang is actually more suited term than group, to be honest. And he didn't fight back. The reason why he didn't fight back was because he thought it may look bad on him. I mean, considering that he's white and they're black, it's kind of saying something. There's definitely a major problem of racism and segregation, but it's not really coming from whites. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people who are racist across the entire globe, who are white, who are black, who are Asian, or other stuff. That wouldn't surprise me. But there are a lot of campuses that try to segregate people based on what they call safe spaces, and basically pandering to these people, calling them oppressed, and just allowing them to have whatever they want. In fact, I recall from Tucker Carlson that there was this one black student that expected that blacks have free tuition, just on the basis that they're simply black, and that this doesn't mean for like reparations for slavery or something. It's really annoying, and even this kind of craziness has affected my campus, although it's not as bad as like Evergreen. In fact, it's been called my college has been called the sanctuary campus, or well, there have been calls for a sanctuary campus, but I don't know if that was officially been chosen by the school board or not. And there have actually been calls for like illegal for well, basically getting to know about immigration more about immigration enforcement and stuff, which is kind of and I could be wrong here, but I'm just gonna assume right now that it's kind of it's helping illegal immigrants within the school. Again, I could be wrong, so yeah, it's just this whole situation is really annoying. This whole problem they by these vigilante groups who want this kind of segregation of basically safe spaces, and also that one day where well whites can't be on campus or something like that. It just really it kind of angers me. But what angers me even more is while this is kind of this is unrelated to the event, this is related to the topic in general. There was this panel, or well, by these two producers of the new Netflix show Dear White People, which honestly, just by the name itself, I tell them to go fuck themselves. But they basically say that black people can't be racist because they don't have institutional power. And also that they define racism as basically an oppression of a marginalized group by white privilege. Wow. Despite the fact that, you know what, how about this? I'll look up on Google right now and see that, there we go. Great. Stupid non-responding internet. Well, anyway, I don't want to waste your time. It basically says in every single dictionary, and even in Google, if you want to look this up yourself, that racism is basically the belief that your race is superior and other races are superior, or well, other races are inferior, which is definitely wrong. That is completely wrong. Okay, I managed to get it back again, so here we go. Really? Okay, you know what? I'll just continue on until I get that stupid connection. I'm sorry. It's wasting your time, but okay. I talked this over with my mom a little bit a few days ago. About the whole problem with racism and how this is constantly being shown in like minority groups. Not all minority groups, but well, some people in the minority groups. And basically, I told her about this interview, and she was like, "That's stupid," because everyone can be racist. Hell, we can even make some comments that people could assume are racist, and we don't even mean it. Again, it's because we're human beings. And here's something I would like to say, and I also told this to my mom. To say that you cannot a certain group based upon an ethnicity cannot be racist pretty much defines you as not being human. The reason why I say that is because all humans, we have a good and a dark nature inside of us. And we do things that sometimes we can consider so wrong that are just unforgivable. Sometimes that's just being human. Racism is kind of one of those things. We have every single one of us has personal bias. I would have political bias. I would have national bias, but nonetheless, it's kind of the way humans are. To say that you cannot be racist is basically denying that you have any humanity left. Despite the fact that your grandfathers and grandmothers fought in the civil rights movement to be given the same equal human rights in this country alone. And also this completely destroys the efforts of basically your great-great-great-grandfathers who fought in the American Civil War to end slavery because they don't want to be treated as property, but as human beings as they are. That is what pisses me off. I'm sure that there are a lot of people who agree with me on this, even those who are within these these minority groups across the country that agree that if you say that you cannot be racist, you're effectively denying your humanity. Yeah. I really hate that. How they're just trying to define racism as something that suits for them, and that basically they seem to be like better than everyone else, or that this cannot simply affect them. Which, again, I think that a lot of people in the entire country, especially blacks, Asians, Latinos, or anyone, would agree that is completely bullshit. And that's really what pisses me off. I really hope that one day I see the university system just rebuild itself from what has happened. We need to get rid of these safe spaces. We need to get rid of this segregation because we cannot fight racism with segregation. We cannot fight segregation with segregation. We cannot fight racism with racism. We can only do... The best way to stop both racism and segregation is this one, stop talking about being racist, like treating people as inferior, and at the same time admitting that you can make the same mistakes as any other human being. That's all I have for today. Post anything down in the comments below. I am Noah Meehan. Time has come today.